welcome to Karls Tech Talk Review. We're just going to deal with a small little tech talk here in regards to a camcorder that I recently purchased a few weeks ago. It's the JVC GZ GM150U. It's basically a standard definition camcorder. I needed to get something like this for my vlogging, or specifically for get-togethers, where I needed a wider lens camera and a longer battery life, because my standard pocket camera that I'm using right now, that I'm recording with, has a very short battery life, which lasts only about a half hour. So, especially doing videos, I needed something with a little longer runtime on the batteries itself. Let's take a quick look here. Yep, but there's the camera. See, here's the camera itself. That's the, like I said, GM150U. It's a standard definition camera. This one here specifically is actually surprisingly a hybrid from JVC. And this one is the Vero 150. This one here actually has a built-in 30 gigabyte 1.8-inch hard drive, which should last you up to, in the econo mode, 37 hours, which I'm not going to do for the life of me. I can't do that. I'd rather have it in the fine resolution to ultra fine. The only difference between the highest resolution on this one and the setting that I currently have this here on is actually the audio quality, because it's from the normal settings to the fine to the ultra fine. The resolution stays the same. The only difference is the actual audio quality, and comes with a pop-out screen so that you actually get to see what the camera is seeing when you're recording. And the handle's right over here to hold it in hand. Oop, connection. Oop, here we go. Some options. See, that's the battery life at full power. And the actual battery here is the new battery. The reason there's some tape, the cover actually broke a little bit, but it's still usable. I was able to tape the cover so it actually stays put. The original battery that came with it was this one. This was actually another replacement battery that came with it, but it was absolutely dead. I could not revive this particular battery, so the battery itself inside here is completely dead. There's no shaking whatsoever on the inside of this. This gives you about an hour and a half runtime per charge, while this one here that I have here, and I have also a secondary one if I can find it, is the exact same one like this, but this here gives you 4.5 hours of runtime. So that's why I picked up two of these. It costed me, just for the camera, the bag, the charger, the USB cable that comes with it, and there's also a cable here that's inside this part here where you can connect it up to the back part here, where you have the the charger here. There's a 3.5 millimeter out on here, which you can actually hook it up to your regular TV, which is a 4x3, the old CRT, or if you're using the LCDs or the OLED TVs, you can set it up to 16:9 and display it on the monitor itself, so you can actually use this as a playback for both the hard drive and the standard SD cards here. Now, I've already put in a 32 gigabyte in here on the SD card, along with the 30 gigabyte that comes with it. What I may eventually do, once the hard drive does conk out, I was actually speaking with one of my other techie friends there that I deal with, the technicians. What I might do is I might go out of the way and get a IDE converter and another memory card, something similar to like the SD cards, and probably max it out at 64 gigs on the internal hard drive. So it'll act as a hard drive with the adapter for it, but it'll be 64 gigs. Besides that, having also another 32 gigs on here to be able to record will give me the space. Now the other thing is that it does come with a little remote here, which is this little guy here, so you can actually use it as a playback. So you actually do have a small little section here which you can actually point it to, and it'll understand as you want to play back or record. Other than that, besides being a standard definition, it's a good little machine. I have no complaints about this guy. The only thing I do have besides being standard definition, it could have been in higher resolution, but for the price that I paid for used at a local pawn shop, which was about $80, it's worth the investment for me for the time being, because I'm not doing anything that I need 720p, 1080p or 4K resolution, because that would take up too much hard disk space or memory space on the SD cards. So for me, in regards to just recording stuff that I need to record, like my cool pool, this should be more than enough for me to use. This is great also for beginners who want to go into doing vlogging, for the simple fact it's small and compact, and you're making little movies as well, or doing like what I'm doing, going to pool halls and doing recordings there with friends and family who like to play pool. Or if you're going to shots like doing Comic-Cons, or going through other places that, not other pool halls, but other places that require you to be away from the computer, this is a great little machine. The other thing I also want to mention, this here does have a 32x optical lens. You can set it up for 64, and then there's one other setting which is 800 digitally, which I don't suggest to go for. 32 to 64 should be more than enough in regards for zooming in, because for the fact is you want to distance yourself too, depending on the location where you're trying to film at. It does a great job. So for something like this, for 80 bucks with the bag, connections and all that, besides paying another $80 for another 2 batteries, it's well worth the investment. I suggest something like this for beginners, depending if you can afford something like this. For 80 bucks, I can't complain. If you're going to go into something new, you might as well get something new, brand new, with 720, 1080p, 4K, if you can afford it with any other options. I do have a little tripod in here that I do use. This is my little tripod that I do set up every time I shoot pool with, and it's been a good little guy. It does come out, the legs does extend out on this, and it does help me out quite a bit, especially when I'm on my own. So that's about it for this small little review. I'll put an attachment, a link with this one of me shooting some pool, that you'll see the actual footage itself after I've actually done the video editing, because I still have the raw footage here, and I'm going out this afternoon to do the last hour of my footage. So you'll get a link with this to actually see it. So that's basically about it. Thank you for joining me, and have yourself a great day.